Hello and welcome to a special episode of The Big Fight. We are coming to you from New York. It's looking a little dark out there, but this is New York. And we are also coming to you from Washington. And we are taking a look at one of the most crucial questions right now, not just for India and our region, but also for the world. And that is, what exactly is happening in Pakistan, and specifically American policy towards Pakistan. There has been a major change in American policy recently, as announced by President Obama. What does it really mean? Some in India are concerned that America is going soft on Pakistan. Many in Pakistan are concerned America is being too tough on Pakistan. So where is all of this stacking up? That's what we're going to try and tell you this week on The Big Fight. And we have an absolutely fantastic lineup of guests in each of these locations. Let me start by introducing here with me in New York. It gives me great pleasure to welcome Mr. Nick Pat, who of course was American ambassador to Pakistan at the very crucial time of 1991-1992. And Mr. Ambassador, you're still very closely involved with what's happening with American policy to Pakistan and the new foundation that is being set up right now.
Well, I try to keep track, yes.
So we'll be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Sitting next to him, Ali Chaudhry, whom actually you inundate many of our email boxes, I have to say, because Ali Chaudhry represents PALC, which is an advocacy group which particularly represents Pakistani Americans. You have your concerns as to what's happening right now with American policy to Pakistan. I no doubt we'll be hearing from you. Let me jump from here to Washington then, where we are being joined by Frank Wisner, who was former American ambassador to India. Stephen Cohen, senior fellow at the Brookings Institute, who's really been following South Asia like just about nobody else. Also there with him, Shuja Nawaz, an old friend of ours here on The Big Fight, and also a well-known author. We also have with us Arvind Panagriha, professor at Columbia University. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll be just coming to Washington very shortly. Joining us from Pakistan, Faratullah Babar, who's the chief spokesperson of the Pakistan People's Party. Mr. Babar, thank you so much for being with us. We'd be fascinated to get your views on happening. Mr. Platt, let me turn to you first off.
All right.
The new American policy to Pakistan. First of all, is it a new American policy to Pakistan?
Well, I think it is new. I mean, when I was there, we had a very supportive policy, but we had just cut off all of our assistance under the Pressler Amendment. It was a completely different scene from what it is now. There was no local insurgency.
Yes. Yes.
All the insurgency was going on in Afghanistan itself, and that was coming to an end.
Okay, but I mean, let me put it now from an Indian point of view. I'm going to get Ali Chaudhry in. I mean, what the Indian government's been saying is, hey, look, hang on, world, we've been telling you for the last 20 years or more that Pakistan is the focus of a lot of the militancy and terrorism that is being spread, and really we need to figure out what's happening inside Pakistan. The Americans now seem to be saying something similar. They're not blaming the Pakistani government, and maybe the Pakistani government and the Pakistani state is not as involved in propping up some of these movements as it once was. But they are saying that the focus of all the problems are inside Pakistan right now. Is that substantially correct?
Well, actually, my experience was that we were spending a lot of time talking to the Pakistani government about reining in militant groups in Kashmir.
Stephen Cohen, is the American policy as announced by President Obama now something which is radically different? Yes, there is a recognition, I think, that he says Al-Qaeda is inside Pakistan. But in what other ways do you think this is a radically new policy?
Yes, in fact, it's gone through two stages. Obama himself stated during the campaign and for the presidency that it was Afghanistan first, and then Pakistan was important, and of course India trailed behind. I think after they've come to power, the Obama administration has put Pakistan first, because they realize that the stability of Pakistan, the disposition of its nuclear weapons, another conflict with India perhaps, these are more important issues than even Afghanistan. So I think, yes, there's been a two-stage shift in American policy from AfPak to PAK-F.